sure there's nothing incriminating in my background.
Well,
Good. All right.
You better do it quick because we're actually already recording.
Oh, shit.
All right, I'll do the intro. I'm reading. Welcome to the Getcha Productions podcast and vlog sometimes. We are a podcast covering all things related to music production. From the first note to the last fan and everything in between. And everything in between, like the meat. My name's Keith.
And my name is Daniel the Meat Kutcher.
And who's down below?
My name is Raja Azar. No honorific.
This is a music production podcast, and basically it's just like a live meeting. And this is Dan and I are the regular hosts, and Raja is our honored guest on this. And ordinarily these are meetings about the business of doing really weird things on publicly. This is normally a business. It's normally a business meeting about. It's hard to talk and watch yourself. Normally, this is a business meeting about this production company called Getcha Productions, where we seek to produce things, musical things, and share the process and experience with the public. So that would be you, listener and watcher. But this particular episode is functionally in a sense, like a band meeting where we're talking about stuff. So ordinarily, and I guess we could do it the same way we always do it. Ordinarily, we plug something because this is supposed to be a business. So we can plug our Reverb link. We are affiliates of reverb.com. where you can go, listener or watcher, and buy yourself something using our link. If you need a new cable, or if you need some picks, or if you need a keyboard or anything like that, you can blast in there through our link, buy it, and it helps us out. We make a small commission. If you don't have a Reverb account, you can use our link to sign up for the first time, and they also pay us a small commission for that. If you do it, we thank you for it. If you don't, it's, we hope you enjoy what you're watching. So guys, and so Raja's our esteemed guest. I'll finish the whole word.
Distinguished guest.
He's a distinguished guest, and your room is looking so fancy.
Yes.
Do you want to give? Raja was our guest on the last actually on episode 29. There'll be an interim episode of episode 30, which comes out, I think, as we're recording this. But so this will be episode 31. Raja was our guest on episode 29, where we discussed doing some jazz stuff. And some of the ideas about wanting to pursue a project. And when we left, you guys gave me an assignment to find some way to start, like material. And feel free to jump in as we're doing it, but I can describe the project if you guys want.
Well, just not so much describe the project. I think more like, could you tell us why you picked what you did, the material that you did, where you're going with that, and like what your thoughts were, and like, because I don't know about Raja, but I haven't really cracked into it. So
yeah, I have it printed out right here.
Yeah.
Barry Galbraith? Is that
Barry Galbraith? Yeah.
Galbraith. Blues and F, Jazz Etude.
Yeah. So actually, I actually the reason why I picked it was I did a lot of searching about what people do, like what the essential jazz songs are and what's the best way to learn if you're a beginner. And there was a lot of ideas about starting with certain song forms, because jazz is kind of like a popular music, and a lot of the songs are like, you know, basically pop songs and show tunes and such. And that's, so it's a song form repertoire situation. But so a lot of the first recommended songs are like Autumn Leaves and All the Things You Are, and it's just like it was too vast and varied for me. And so I started thinking, well, what are the essential elements of music, right? We have essential chord forms, we have time signatures, and then there are also like song forms like ABA, AABA, ABC, stuff like that, blues form. And I started thinking, okay, so if we're going to start off, we need something that's going to sort of fulfill the most basic, the most basic chord, I guess, like tonalities and some basic forms. And so, and actually, I sort of like got in on a group, a jazz group, and somebody had asked this question, and there were like a million answers, but the answers came up with like, everyone recommended playing a blues. Everyone recommended playing a minor tonality song. Lots of people recommended playing a ballad, and lots of people recommended playing rhythm changes. And so I started thinking, okay, a blues, right, is number one. A minor tonality song could be blue bossa, or there's a lot of minor tonality songs, but we'd have to play at least one minor tonality song. A ballad, the most popular ballad that was recommended was Body and Soul. And actually Body and Soul was the one that I played on like conservatory, was requested on conservatory auditions. So Body and Soul was like the most popular ballad recommendation. And then Rhythm Changes, which is technically a song form, but it's a very standard thing. And what you get there is you get the blues form, you get a ballad in Body and Soul, and you get Rhythm Changes, which is song form, but it's also a very major tonality. So the only thing we were missing was minor, and I couldn't decide if it was going to be like which minor tonality song we'd play. But when I pulled up this book has the chords and a specific arrangement to a blues in F, a minor blues, several rhythm changes, and Body and Soul. So this book had all the four, you know, at least the beginning four, like basic, like if you're starting out, the first four things you need is a blues, a minor, at least one minor song, a major song, and a ballad. So we have a dominant tonality, we have a major tonality, we have we have a minor, and then we have a ballad. So that's why I picked that book. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
And so I don't know, you know, so because we hadn't had a conversation, I launched into learning the blues. Now the question is, does that blues sound good to you guys? Do you think you could jam to that? Do you like, you know, is it like, am I going down the wrong path, the right path? How do you feel?
No, I mean, those chords are cool. It's honestly, I wouldn't have cared if it was even just like a simple, like 1-4-5 kind of thing, you know, at this point, because we're just starting this whole process, and the simpler the better in my book. And the cool thing about this is it's like interesting chords, you know, and it's simple enough to where I could like get it into my hands pretty easily, you know. Then once it's there, we could fuck with it, you know? Like it would be, you know, like play it in some weird time signature or something, or do like polyrhythm kind of stuff or whatever. You know, it's like starting with something relatively simple like this is like I don't know, it's great. And it's, I mean, you've already like launched into it. You've learned the whole thing by now. I had to send my instrument back to Moog for service, so
Oh yeah, you said that.
yeah, so I'm lacking anything to practice on right now besides like, you know, it's like one hand, you know, monophonic lines, melody lines, basically, you know, which
Yeah.
is fine, you know, but like, so, you know, I think this is a great place to start, for sure.
Cool. Dan, what do you think?
Well, I think, you know, as a bass player playing here with no drummer, that I'm kind of like, you know, whatever makes you guys happy. I'm just gonna play some low notes and like learn, like, you know what I mean? Like figure out how you guys are approaching the chord, and then I can play the right passing tones and stuff like that, you know.
Right. Your shit's already written out. You don't have to do anything. We're all right there.
Yeah.
Baseline.
So,
but you have to read it in treble clef.
I didn't do any homework, obviously. That's fine. Treble clef is fine. If it's all written out, that's cool. You know what I mean? So, but as you saw, like rhythmically, it's not much. It's just quarter notes mostly.
Yeah, no, it's like, I mean, I feel like you could probably do something more interesting than that.
Well, the thing is, you know, without a drummer, that's probably a great thing to be playing too, because I might be more of a metronome, you know, and add a little sauce to it here and there, you know, as a starting point. Maybe you have some devices in your house that can produce some sort of beat.
if only there were some type of technology that you could program rhythmically to take the place of a drummer.
Yeah, with the volume knob on it.
Well, I was thinking we could get a cardboard box for the bass drum, and we could get like a pan from the kitchen for the cymbal.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know, I have a friend who actually, he has this, it's his like portable backpacking drum kit, and he takes it with him on like sailing trips or something, and it all fits into like a Tupperware or like a Rubbermaid bin, and it's basically it's got like a shitty snare and a shitty hi-hat and a kick pedal, and he basically on his sailboat he'll just put the kick pedal up against the cabin, and so like the side of the cabin will be the kick drum, and then, you know, he has a hi-hat and snare, and he'll use the Rubbermaid container as a tom, and like that's it. That's his travel set. And he'll like take it backpacking or not that, you know, like car camping or something. Or
it's kind of awesome.
I thought that was clever and charming.
Yeah, it sounds great to me. I would love to have one.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I could program something on a drum machine.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
you can at least have a rhythm to.
If you guys wanted to, you know, I just wanted to see like how you wanted to pursue it, because now that we sort of agreed that it, you know, like at least that what I've selected was okay, then we could do it in one of different ways. Like, so the one thing that's been rattling around in my head is that jazz is fundamentally improvised, and I just learned an etude. And so it's like I'm just playing it by rote. And so I was sort of like thinking, how are we going to have something improvised that is based on something that I've learned by rote? And so I was thinking, one thing we could do is we could break it down to its component parts and sort of like learn it measure by measure in a way, and just improvise, like sort of improvise together at a distance. So I would say, like, take the first measure. The first measure happens to be an F13 chord, I think.
Yeah.
Going to a G flat 13 chord. So I could just sit there and vamp on an F and a 13 chord for a while and then send it to you guys, and you guys could sort of improvise over that and just use what I'm playing as a basis, and I'll mess with it, and then we can build up from there. That's one idea. Another idea is you could write an etude. And actually I was thinking, if you had some crazy sound that was a bass sound, what if Dan took the melody? It could be, it's just sort of like, we don't need to have any sort of preconceived sort of thing about what it is. But I think like that's one sort of thing that I was thinking of, is like, how do we introduce improvisation into the framework of the thing?
Yeah.
And so, and I do sort of agree that there are a lot of chords going by in this etude. So it's like, I personally, I know conceptually how to play over them, but I can't improvise over them.
Right.
And so if we take it in smaller chunks, that's one solution. The other solution is we could just write etudes. I found another book where I'm going to kind of steal like jazz vocabulary from. It's a Joe Pass book, and it has just like tons and tons of lines in it. So my plan is to learn an actual etude and use it as a jumping off point and make, small changes and use and sort of hopefully maybe combine both etudes and play them so much that I start to be able to improvise over them. But I'm just kind of throwing it out there, or I could just record the whole thing, send it to you guys, and whatever you come up with, you come up with.
I have a third idea.
Why don't we break it down into like smaller chunks though, because like the first 12 bars, for example, we can there's a double bar right there, even after 12 bars. So
12 bar blues, right?
It's a 12 bar blues, so it's 12 choruses, that particular etude.
Yeah, so let's like maybe, because there's no melody, it's just the chords. So
right.
Why don't we could each like, or you and me, Keith, we could record just the chord comping, and like the just the first 12 bars, loop them a couple times, and then we could each send that to I could send you guys the keyboard version, and you send us the guitar version, and then we'll just like
play over
we all just start playing over it and improvising over it, see what we can come up with.
Okay.
But yeah, why don't we just focus on that, the first 12 bars? Let's
record 12 bars.
Let's just record the chords and then send them to everyone. And I like the idea of so I love like the possibilities that can arise when combining synth bass with regular like real bass.
Yeah.
We did that a few times with some of the later Jolly Ship songs.
Yeah.
It always ends up sounding super cool,
Yeah.
So like once you come up with a cool bass part, then I'll try and like do another bass, but that's either the same thing with just like, a different type of sound in the low register to really like, fill it out and make it sound like super rad and thick in the low end, or, so like, I like, we should definitely combine the powers of our two instruments to create like low end juiciness.
Yes.
But I should, wait until you come up with something, obviously. And then you improvise guitar lines, or you, Keith, improvise guitar lines over the piano or synth chords, and I'll improvise synth lines over guitar chords, and let's just see what we come up with based on those first 12 bars. Make it easy.
I just want to, and this is no pressure, but I just want to throw this out there that there are recordings where it's like traditional jazz quartet where it's bass drums, guitar, and a horn.
Yeah.
I thought, like, I just have this idea in my mind, like, what if it's bass drums, guitar, but you're the horn player? But you're playing a synth sound.
Yeah.
that's kind
That's a
of
good
like,
way to think about it, actually. That's a great way to think about it.
like something that's almost traditional jazz, but it's like, I don't know, this, I sort of have like a dream that we're going to have that someday, but like that would just be one iteration of what we could possibly make. I'm just throwing it out there because I kind of feel like you could be like the Eric Dolphy of synth or something,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
especially because right now I'm limited to just doing like monophonic lines, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So if I think about what I'm playing in terms of like, monophonic instruments like a woodwind or a violin or something, that'll yeah. Then I'll at least be able to like start working on something instead of like sitting around waiting to hear back from the techs in Asheville about my fucking synth,
How long is it going to take them to fix it?
I don't know. They've received it. I FedExed it back to them a couple weeks ago, and then I got an email from them a few days back saying they got it, and they'll let me know when it's actually on the workbench. And I mean, I'm assuming it'll probably take like a couple weeks maybe to actually get the repair done, and then another couple weeks for it to be shipped back to me.
Mm. Wow, that's a long time.
I know. I'm kind of bummed. I spent all that time and money acquiring that thing, and then it just like wasn't working properly, So I went through this whole like diagnostic process with the Moog techs, and it turns out that there were some like faulty voice cards in there. There are 3 of them. There's 16 voice cards in the thing. Like it's a huge, complicated beast,
Yeah.
So there's a lot that could go wrong, and maybe like when it was shipped from the factory originally over to the West Coast, maybe it got like jostled during transit or something. But 3 of the 16 voice cards were faulty. So, and it's not something that I could fix, myself remotely. So I ended up having to ship it back to them.
That's a bummer, man.
That's a bummer. I'm sorry.
I know. I was so excited about this thing, but like I was having some really frustrating moments where like it wouldn't stay in tune, or like, the actual like the tuning would be so off between voices.
Wow.
Where it would make it sound like a different patch from note to note. It was fucking crazy.
Wow.
Just like enraging. So
this thing is supposed to be awesome, but it sucks.
Yeah. I mean, Moog's customer service is insane. Like, I've never had a more pleasurable experience dealing with customer service before. Like, they were just totally on top of it and super helpful. So
really,
they're like very they want to fix it. They want to make it right, and I don't have to pay for any of the repairs or shipping or anything, obviously.
That's just time spent though. That's too bad.
Yeah, and I'm
out an instrument too, which sucks.
Yeah. That's like, well, Dan has a brand new bass, relatively new.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting jealous of you guys.
Yeah, you should be.
I should get it.
Yeah.
I don't have any new instrument. I think there's a chip shortage right now.
Yeah.
I wonder I don't know where they have them manufactured. They're probably very specialized chips.
I just went to Kroger. They got chips. They got like corn chips, and I got salt and vinegar and sun chips. They had a lot of those.
Right, but do they have those shrimp chips? Those are the best.
No, I have to go to the Chinese market for that kind of stuff. Anyway. Not to digress, or I totally change the subject. Non sequitur, Keith. I can come up to Brooklyn in a couple weeks and hang out if you have free time. Yes.
What?
When are you coming?
I have June 5th, the 1st to 2nd week of June.
Okay.
I'm off. So I'll shoot you some dates, and maybe we can make something work. Maybe I could crash your place if the ladies are around. Or cool with that or whatever, but I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. I think it'd be fun to kick off the project a little bit too, like face to face even.
Yeah.
So
Bring it on, dude. We'll make it work. Whatever has to happen, dude.
Yeah, I can bring my bass too. I'm gonna be driving, so
Bring it.
yeah.
If you're gonna bring it, then bring it.
I'm gonna bring it.
Oh, kitty.
Yeah.
Hey
he's
guys, I
outside
gotta.
the door
Oh, hey,
freaking out.
I gotta go soon, guys.
Yeah, let's sign off. That's good. We have a plan now.
Yes, first. So we've agreed then the first 12 bars.
First
just
12
one piece at a
bars.
time.
I'm gonna loop it
Yeah.
1,000 times for you guys.
I know you are.
Cool. Okay,
It
so
just looks bad with all those practice. How do you even find time to practice, man? For me, it's like it has to happen from between the hours of like 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. or something, if I'm lucky.
yeah, well, I work from
I'm
home.
jealous of your practice time.
Yeah, I work from home, so it's like I just take 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. You see what I'm doing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just 10 minutes at a time here and there for the past several weeks. Just make it happen. So,
Ooh.
listen, I'm trying to support you guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to lay down a nice bed for you both to lay in. I think that's a good way to end it.
You're gonna make it so weird.
I think that's a really good way to end this. So, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please click on our links. We'll put Raj's. You got to check out Raj's music. We're always going to be trying to push his stuff. So we're going to link to Downtown. It's still all the Downtown stuff, right? I'll include all the same links.
Yeah. We're gonna have that new album done probably by I don't know, fall too. So.
Okay, it's coming.
Awesome.
And it's gonna be our last album is Downtown. We're moving on to a new project.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
So, yeah.
This would be like a collector's item.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. I
Yeah,
can't wait to hear about that. I didn't know about that, Raj. I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah.
Throughout our next podcast, we can touch on your next project or something.
Yeah. We should do it. We'll do a review. Let's do in the next podcast with Raj. We could do a like an interview, like a Raj interview.
Oh yeah, featuring the music of your
Life
own stuff and also Downtown.
story.
Yes. Yeah, let's do
The
it.
whole life story, beginning to
Oh
end.
wow. Here we go.
Straight up to the grave. Yeah.
All right, guys.
See you guys
Cool. Peace.
later.